by mentioning that I represent one of the largest Uyghur diaspora communities in the United States. So their plight is very, very important to me and my constituents. I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in Xinjiang and the treatment of Uyghurs and other Turkic ethnic minorities. Because despite all the recent attention to this issue, the internment camps are still expanding. Products made with Uyghur forced labor continue to flood our markets, and stories of rape and forced sterilization in the camps are growing worse. And I agree that we should step up the pressure not only on the Chinese government, but also on the global corporations and institutions that are turning a blind eye to these gross human rights violations and even genocide. Now, I know that the administration hasn't yet made a decision regarding what to do about the 2022 Beijing Olympic Games. And I agree with you that it should not be about politics. But I just don't see how we can go on with business as usual while the host committee is committed, while the host country is committing genocide. At the very least, we should be pressuring the IOC to move the games and not take a full boycott off the table. So there's no question right now, but I just want you to know that this is something that affects people on both sides of the aisle, and that the world is really watching us, and they're going to be, assessing what we do moving forward. Now, sticking with the Uyghurs, I am a co-lead on a bipartisan bill led by Representative Ted Deutsch that would give Uyghurs priority 2 refugee status, which, as you know, would give them direct access to the U.S. refugee system and kind of fast track them. Now, we've seen media reports that China is pressuring Turkey and probably other countries to crack down on Uyghur dissidents through economic pressure, and even threatening to withhold vaccines from those countries. And Turkey's parliament is even considering an extradition agreement with China that would make it easier to extradite Uyghurs. Is this something that the State Department is keeping an eye on, and what are you doing to help the Uyghurs in this situation and work with our third-party allies to ensure that they're not really susceptible to this pressure?
In short, yes, and thank you for flagging that, putting a spotlight on it. I've actually raised this with my Turkish counterpart. We've also been very focused on making sure that Uyghurs who have made it to other countries, that those countries respect the non-refoulement obligations that they have internationally, and do not send people back to dire circumstances. I think across the board, as you know, we have worked to build a course of condemnation for what the PRC is doing in Xinjiang and to Uyghurs and other minorities. There have been joint actions and sanctions in coordination with the UK, with Canada, with the European Union that China certainly took notice of, given its reaction. We are focused as well on trying to make sure, to the best of our ability, that products made with forced labor in Xinjiang can't come here, and we're working to open the eyes of other countries to that as well. At the same time, we want to make sure that none of our companies are inadvertently or otherwise engaged in exporting technologies or products that can be used in any way to perpetuate the repression of Uyghurs or anyone else. All of this is in the works. We continue to look for ways to bring to bear meaningful pressure on China to change its practices, to stop the repression of Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities.
And it seems that it's accelerating, unfortunately, so we've got to step it up even more. So thank you. Now, I understand that the State Department has a number of useful resources to counter disinformation and misinformation, and I know a number of those are included in your budget. Specifically in China, what are we doing to counter the massive state-sponsored propaganda machine?
Yeah, this is a really important piece of things. We have, as you know, the Global Engagement Center, which is, I think, an increasingly effective vehicle in finding and sharing and then acting on misinformation and disinformation, whether it's from China, whether it's from Russia, whether it's from many places. It's become the premier platform for sharing information about misinformation and disinformation with several dozen countries, including some of our closest allies and partners. And the budget request reflects the fact that we believe, for the State Department, this is an important and increasingly effective vehicle to deal with that challenge.
I'm a big fan of the GEC, and I also think that Radio Free Asia is one of the best bangs for the buck in terms of countering disinformation and getting the Uyghur story out there. So I appreciate your continuing support of it. And with that, I'll yield back, Madam Chair.